we have a particular school, a nonprofit school in my district that has a large number of veterans that actually attend classes, brick and mortar, but they also have a vast online program. So what's the percentage of schools, or how many schools, for example, have that practice, and how successful are they?
Well, Congressman, I couldn't give you an exact percentage. I wish I could. I can tell you from my experience in working in higher education that many institutions are moving into the online area. As chair of the Veterans Committee on Education, the advisory committee, that's one of the things that we're looking at is the expansion of online learning and giving veterans access to quality online learning. So it is a challenge for SAs, but it has worked well in many cases in that where that main campus is housed, that's the SA that oversees all of that activity. And but I would say that even though I don't know the exact percentage, that percentage is growing because that is online learning is the way of the future, and it is a valuable a method of delivering education as long as the quality is there and it meets all the accreditation standards.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Next question for Ms. Bogue. What is examined in a VA compliance survey? What real value do these bring to students as compared to other types of reviews?
Thank you. So that's a great question. So a compliance survey is looking at different aspects. So one aspect is looking at student records. It's looking at making sure that the school certifying official or that particular entity has certified that individual correctly for the terms. Also that they are charging VA the correct amounts as it relates to tuition and fees from that aspect. Also, it's also re-engaging the original approval package itself on some of those aspects as it relates to instructional design, the program curriculum, making sure all those things are aligned. They're actually teaching classes where they say they're teaching classes from that aspect. And the intent of a compliance survey is, one, to help to identify issues quickly at a particular school. If we realize that it's a training issue, then we'll work with that school certifying official to train them up. If it's something that may be more egregious, then we'll take the appropriate action along with our state approving agency partners to take the appropriate action that's necessary. We conduct about, last year we conducted about 4,000 compliance surveys, and to date for this year, we've conducted about 2,000 compliance surveys across the nation.
Thank you. To follow up, Dr. Westcott, what is your view of compliance surveys, and do you believe that what is being examined is really helping students, veterans? Focus on the quality of education, if you can. Is there oversight as far as that is concerned? To what extent is there oversight? I know that we got an answer, a good answer from Ms. Bogue, but if you could elaborate on that, I'd appreciate it.
Certainly, Mr. Ranking Member, and I do appreciate the opportunity to. I would agree with what my colleague and friend has stated about compliance surveys, but I think there is more that needs to be done, and particularly when you talk about the quality of education. A compliance survey, by its very nature, has historically been primarily a financial audit. You're looking at the records to see how veterans were paid and if there were overpayments or underpayments. What we're interested in doing, and what Congress has said that we should be doing, is risk-based surveys that would be veteran-centric, programmatic in nature, and would be broader in what we looked at. So we would be looking at accreditation issues. We would be looking at rates of graduation. We would be looking at percentage of veterans. Is it growing or reducing? We would be looking at, if the school provided it, what type of employment veterans were going into. We would be talking to veterans, and we would be looking at the resources that are available at the school. Sure, we would be looking at some files as well, but the main focus wouldn't be there. Our interest is to get at the quality of education, not just how the payments were made. And again, I know that compliance doesn't just look at that, but in many cases, I think that is the primary focus, and we can do more.
Yeah, we want to help you do more in the interest of the veteran. Thank you. Now yield back.
Thank you for your questions, Mr. Ranking